For page number 8, it says a watch store paid $125 for every watch that's in a shipment, and they sold all but 15 watches. And when they sold them for $150 per watch. Okay, then it says in terms of the number of watches in the shipment. Okay, so you could just cross out the words in terms of. And we know that Y equals the number of watches in this shipment. So we know that this number is going to be greater than 15 because 15 is what is going to be left over. And notice this is a no calculator section. So I'm not going to use a number like 16 because I don't want to have to do the math using Y equals 16. So I'm going to say Y equals 20. Okay, so I know that 20 watches were purchased. So if 20 watches were purchased and they were $125 each, remember this is a no calculator section, so you got to do this math all on your own. This is going to be $2,500 is what I am going to put in, okay? And hopefully I could sell all of them in order to make my money back. And we know that when we sell it, we're going to sell it for $150, but notice that only 15 were left over. So 20 minus 15 is how many did we sell? 5 sold. Okay, and when we sold these, we sold it for $150. So multiply that, bring the 0 down, 5 here. So we're only gonna have made $750. So how to find the total profit is however much you spend plus however you make back. So we're in the red, 2,500, and we're gonna make back 700. There's no calculator, but that's gonna be negative 1,750. This is our profit. We're in the red. And when you go to the answer choices, C is the correct answer because it goes 150 times Y minus 15 minus 125Y. Y is going to be 20. Okay, so basically that is 5. 150 times 5, we already did that right here, is 750. Minus 125 times 20. We did that right here, is 2,500. And that is going to come out to the same thing, 1,750. For number 13, we're going to have this expression x to the third minus x squared minus 32x plus 60 can be written in the equivalent form. Basically what that means is equals k times x minus 2. Okay, now we're not going to, we always start off with the number 2, but in this case, if we put a 2 here, 2 minus 2 is 0, 0 times k is 0, and we're going to take out the k. We don't want that to happen because we're trying to solve for k. So we got to start with the next number, which is x equals 3. Okay, so plug 3 in there. 3 minus 2 is 1, so k times 1 is just regular k. So everything on this side will be the answer, okay? 3 to the third minus 3 to the second minus 32 times 3 plus 60. You're not allowed to use your calculators on this section, so 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 minus 9 minus, and this is going to be 60, 32 times 3 is 96 plus 60, okay? And then when you do all of that math, you're going to find out that k is going to equal negative 18, okay? That is our target number. And when you go to answer B, you go x squared plus x minus 30, you plug in 3 back here. 3 squared is 9 plus 3 is 18, or 9, 12. Is 12 minus 30 equals negative 18. Match made in heaven. For number 14, it says x is going to be less than 0, so we know it's going to be a negative number. We also know that 9 is going to be less than x minus 5, which is less than 10. Then which of the following includes the possible values of x minus 1? We want to find out what is x minus 1, okay? So the first thing that you guys need to know is that when you put a number in here, it's going to be negative. Hey guys, I'm trying to make a video for you and it's running right now and you're too loud. Thank you. So x is going to be a negative number. X is also going to end up being a decimal because once you put a number in here, you're going to find that the number, if you use negative 4, for example, Negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. Negative 9, when you take it out of the absolute value, will be positive 9. Positive 9 is not greater than regular 9, okay? And then if you use 5, it's going to be negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 is not, and when you take it out of the absolute value, it's going to be positive 10. That's not less than 10. So we know that this is going to have to be a decimal, okay? Something like negative 4.5. You could use a number like negative 4.1 all the way to negative 4.9, but this is a no calculator section, and I don't know if you want to do that to yourself, okay? So if you go negative 4.9 minus 5, that's going to be negative 9.5. When you take it out of the absolute value signs, it's going to be positive 9.5, which works, and we have it, okay? So when we take this, x equals that, they want to know eventually not what x is, but what is x, which is negative 4.5, minus 1. And that's going to be negative 5.5, and when you take it out of the absolute value, it's going to be 5.5, okay? So when you look at the answer choices, the only one that could fit 5.5 is between the numbers 5 and 6. Right there is going to be, so B is the answer. And then lastly, number 19. Okay, number 19 says a new radioactive element is found on Mars. Every 10 years, the concentration of the element is a quarter. So you got to understand, for every 10 years that passes, the number that's there is going to be quartered. Okay? And it does tell us the equation already is C to the CO, X to the T over 10. And it says that CO is the initial concentration. And this is the number that's going to keep getting quartered, okay? And in the end, they want to know, this is the final concentration, and then they want to know what is the value of X. So in the end, we want to find out what is X, okay? So a smart number that we could find for T is to use a number like 10. Okay, so if we say T equals 10, do you guys see why that's a smart number? Because the time limits that they give us is every 10 years anyways. So 10 cancels out 10, and that's a great number to use. So that's always going to cancel out to just x to the 1 power. Okay, so if you use a number here, you know that this number is going to get quartered every 10 years. Quartered means that it's going to get divided by 4. So you want to find a number that is divisible by 4, okay? So let's use a number like 16, okay? And it's going to get quartered every 10 years, okay? So for 10 years, it's going to get quartered. And so that means that C is going to equal 4. But they didn't ask us what C equals. They asked us what X equals. Therefore, we got to do step 2. Take this C and plug it in, okay? And what was our initial? It was 16. And again, we're going to use T equals 10, so that's going to cancel out to a 1. So how do we solve for X? Divide out the 16, divide out the 16, and it will always reduce to 1 over 4, regardless of what number you use. And then you just plug that in.